Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I couldn't help but think of this particular commendation when we were doing our prayer, because certainly the families in Puerto Rico right now who are suffering from the Hurricane Irma and the devastation that it brought to them. It really, there's so much compassion that has been shown. And that's why I'm doing the commendation today, because there are leaders in our community who really have stepped in and really taken charge and do whatever they can to help their fellow citizens. And I'd like to ask the individuals that are here to come forward. E.J. Otero, Colonel E.J. Otero, he's retired United States Air Force, and Colonel Bill Oliva, Miss Arlene Oliva, Brenda Irizarry, MSGT Walter Gonzalez, Mr. Richard Trella, Andy Serrano, Luis Lorente, Linda Perez, Lisa Rivera-Roos, Antonio Soler, Marianne Persad. I'm sorry if I did not say your names right. And there are countless other heroes that have stepped forward to help these victims of the hurricane. And I just heard on the radio today that the island, 93% of the island is still without power. That's almost hard to imagine, hard to believe. And of course, it could have happened here. So we can count our blessings, but the blessings are now coming from our area over to Puerto Rico to help those in need. But I was really, I went to visit the Homeland, the name of the place is called Homeland Intelligence Technologies, right? So I went to visit. That was the, I guess, the focal point or the hub of the relief effort for the people in Puerto Rico. And I stepped out of my car. I could not believe the number of volunteers. You had hundreds of volunteers, probably thousands by now. The amount of goods that were being delivered to help. And of course, then they're being delivered over to Puerto Rico. But it was, you know, I witnessed a mom driving up in her car with her 2 kids in the back seat, just dropping off whatever she could. I mean, there was such outpouring support and love for the Puerto Rican, the whole state. And I wanted to give this commendation to you because I felt it was necessary for us to recognize the selfless contribution that you all made for the state of Puerto Rico. It says the Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners is proud to recognize Course of Action Foundation, PR, and Homeland Intelligence Technologies, Inc. for coming to the aid of people of Puerto Rico following the direct hit of Hurricane Maria. Oh, it was Hurricane Maria. I'm sorry. I think I said Irma. At U.S. Commonwealth, Puerto Rico suffered devastating damage to its electrical power grid and other infrastructure when the Category 4 hurricane struck on September 20th, resulting in a humanitarian crisis. Greatly concerned for the welfare of family, friends, and other residents of Puerto Rico, dedicated community volunteers and leaders in Hillsborough County and neighboring areas began a donation drive at locations in Tampa, Clearwater, and Bradenton. The community responded with heartfelt generosity for those in need. We commend Course of Action PR and Homeland Intelligence Technologies as they continue to raise tens of thousands of pounds of supplies, including water, diapers, baby formula, hundreds of other necessities for the people of Puerto Rico. The Board of County Commissioners of Hillsborough County, Florida does hereby commend Course of Action and Homeland Intelligence Technologies for their labor of love during this most difficult time for the people of Puerto Rico. And I do want to say that we know on Wednesday, September 20th, is when they experienced this hurricane, and that these leaders, these individuals came forward and led the efforts that collected over 2.5 million pounds of donations ranging from generators, chainsaws, medicines, canned goods, and many other items in less than a week. And the catastrophic event has brought the community together, not only in Puerto Rico, but here in our county too, and around our whole county and Tampa Bay area. And just to let you know, 15% of our population in Tampa is Puerto Rican. 33% of the population in Tampa is Hispanic. They are grateful today, and I do believe that we are all one together. So I'd like to present this commendation to you, EJ, and if you'd like to say a few words.
Thank you.
And also, if you'd like to say a few words.
Thank you. Very seldom something that people do is done without expectations of anything in return. And it's usually, there's an old saying that says, heroes are ordinary people that act in extraordinary circumstances. So it's not one person, but it's a group of people, and they're all behind me. And none of this would have happened had it not been for every single one of these folks here. They're the leaders. They're the ones that made it happen. I didn't. They did. They gave it the organization, the know-how, the logistical tail that is required to make sure that the people in Puerto Rico have something. The stories are difficult. Ladies that have died because of lack of insulin standing in line, children that have no water. Spreading it to the rest of the island is a challenge that we as an organization have. Richard and I were having a conversation this morning precisely about that sorts of things, and that's how we spend a lot of our time, as well as welcoming the wonderful community of Tampa that have poured themselves into the efforts that we have. One thing I have come to know, that regardless of your background, everybody's connected to Puerto Rico at some point or another. Everybody knows somebody that lived there. Everybody knows a family that lives there, were stationed there, worked there, or something. And there's always a semblance of love. There is a sense of love. And I just want to say, the Commissioner, thank you for recognizing the team, for recognizing the folks, and like you said, the thousands of volunteers that have shown up, and also those that give. Some can give more, some can give less. A lady showed up the other day with just 2 cans of beans, and that's all she could give. And it gave me tears to my eyes, because these are special people. These are our neighbors in Tampa. So thank you very much. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner Murman, and God bless you.
Commissioner Murman, I'm sorry. Before, one more speaker. Before we do the photo, I'd like to make some comments, but we'll let the second speaker go first.
Thank you, Colonel Otero did a good job of explaining acknowledgement for all people involved. It's grown now to where we're getting the Port of Tampa's helping with ships. There's tremendous, like 3 or 4 calls just for ships coming in. And we're actually going to be loading a number of containers on some ships going over. And we have visitors coming in all the time from different baseball organizations and groups teaming up. So I want to acknowledge also everybody, including Brenda Irizarry, who did a tremendous push in the very beginning of this, as well as all this whole team here. And we want to thank you for this recognition, but also being able to let people know that help's on the way, hope's on the way, and there's been a tremendous...
He's being very humble. He actually cleared out his whole business to accept these donations. And that was an incredible selfless act and donation on your part. So we do appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, Sandy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you all for the proclamation and your continued support, and
Thank you.
special acknowledgement to this very hardworking team here.
I just want to thank you guys as well. I've been out there and toured the operation, saw a lot of folks working hard, literally around the clock, drenched in sweat. The day I was out, it was hot and humid. People were working their tails off. Colonel Otero, I think you were running on about 2 hours of sleep the morning I saw you. I just want to thank you again for making your business facilities available for this operation. You know, we have a lot of good-hearted people here. You know, you guys are really, really doing a great thing, and I just can't commend you enough. I know we had talked about helping with getting some extra dumpsters out there because you know, you're tearing apart pallets and wrapping things. You generate some waste in that process. Is that moving along okay? Or fantastic. So I want to give a shout out to Waste Management for making that happen. You know, they're doing that on a charitable basis. So I'm glad we were able to get that moving along as well. But thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know I speak on behalf of the entire board when I say that.